Welcome to the Loud Equals Funny podcast, episode 3. Sorry that I diddled all those kids, but I got this guitar that's made for kids, and I'm gonna diddle it instead. And it's not good diddling kids. Don't you fucking do it.
Don't
You
do
don't.
it, God, don't do it.
Nobody younger than my daughter, older than my wife. That was a lot funnier in my head.
Don't
hey, it
fucking
worked.
do it.
Ooh.
Hello,
I
everybody.
didn't put
Welcome to the thing.
Yeah, welcome to
Hi.
the third episode. Oh god, this is originally going to be about that Titanic sub, and then just everything else spiraled.
Yeah, then that stopped being relevant
Yeah.
because it's 2023 and things stay in the news for 17 seconds.
Yeah, we pushed back recording this a couple times, and in between that, they all found
hell
out we're
broke loose.
what everyone on the sub was found out to just be dead 4 days prior, so that's something. And then a woman killed her own career publicly, so we're gonna talk about some of that.
Yes.
That's always the most fun. You know, it's when other people do it to people, it's like, all right, whatever. But nobody knew.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
like-
knew about these
I had
accusations.
no
before.
fucking idea.
Exactly, because
someone had
who the
told
fuck
me-
follows Miranda Sings?
So like sometimes I get information and I'm like, oh, I'll look into it, and I kind of don't get to do a cursory glance because I've been kind of busy with life. That's why I've been streaming lately. But somebody like told me about this, and I was like, who? I didn't recognize who it was because no, I don't. Yeah, I didn't remember this lady by her username. I remembered her as like her real name. I remembered her username, but
I mean, I remembered her because she had a bunch of
Yeah, you
drama
drink,
a few years ago. She, like, years ago in, like, the fucking era when I would watch, like, iNabber or whatever.
yeah, like
She would show up on that and be like, oh, she snubbed whoever at a party or some stupid fucking garbage tea.
yeah.
Oh man, I bet she's yearning for those days.
She was like an early YouTuber. Like I don't know how to describe it other than she was around that time of like Fred.
Well, yeah, she falls into the category of a Fred, an Onision with the banana sketch, and also the like Joker, Batman shit that he would do.
Oh god.
Yeah, Annoying Orange also. I mean, Annoying Orange stayed a little more relevant, but
Somehow.
I'm looking here. Yeah, she apparently like internet fame was working at I guess like Disneyland beforehand.
That tracks. Holy shit.
I mean, well, let's be 100% honest here. She's like the most
Disney
theater
adult.
kid. No, most theater kid ever I've ever seen.
I mean, after
Yeah.
that apology thing, yeah. I mean, it's so easy shorthand to call it apology, but it's really not. It was
Yeah,
not ever
well.
an apology.
Yeah, it's just like these people are wrong, and I'm gonna sing
Yeah.
about it.
I wonder if
I think
somebody's
the-
written out the lyrics for it yet.
The
Oh,
funniest.
Someone
the
has
funniest-
written out not only the lyrics, but a full description of all of the chords to play and when to play them.
Oh
And
my god, it's
That
great.
And-
shit got charted.
and the thing says at the top, be sure to practice your best frowny face and pretend to look like you understand human emotion.
Yeah.
Also, Tristan, you're echoing a little bit. I think it's
Oh, am I?
I- there's-
All right, give me a moment.
Oh yeah, so it's already up on fucking Genius. That's great.
Amazing.
So I figure we could talk about it just chart by chart, I guess. She calls it the toxic gossip train.
Amazing.
How out of touch.
I mean,
Ugh.
the thing with her is like, again, most of us didn't know there was any issue with her, and most of her fan base is like,
Bless you.
sorry.
That's staying in the
Edit that
cut.
one
That's
out.
staying in the
No,
cut.
edit it out. They're gonna jerk off to it on the forums.
Oh yeah, it's
God.
gonna be it's gonna be for free. Every fucking
For
comment
free?
for free.
But yeah, no, nobody in our circles really knew
Yeah,
anything
it's-
about this,
It
and
was-
most of her
it was
Yeah,
known,
and
but it was like,
honestly, I would think less of them if they did.
yeah, it was so outside of our realm that like it wouldn't have been
I
picked
mean,
up.
And then most of her fans are like children. I mean, but she does have the vlog channel where she's just herself. That's what that video was uploaded to. I didn't really look at that and what she does there. She might have an older fan base there. But whoever they are, again, they aren't the sort of people, at least that I interact with. So a lot of people, a sizable chunk of people, and I'm pretty terminally online. I didn't know anything about this until I came home one day from like seeing a movie, and I sit down and I just get a text that's like, "Yo, this fucking apology or whatever." My God, I say apology. It's not even apology. I should stop saying that. But just I didn't see it until I streamed it.
Apology.
No, not even. I didn't see it until I streamed it, so I had ideas in my head about like, okay, she'll have the ukulele, and she'll like strum on it a little bit, but mostly she'll probably just talk. She might have like a little instrumental interlude between her fucking stanzas or whatever. But nope, 10-minute progressive fucking masterpiece.
It was a full-on like bossa nova.
It was a concept video. I can't call it a concept album. It was a concept video.
It was a
it was
a Jethro Tull song.
Yes.
It was like, how can you fucking? I made a tweet comparison to the. You guys ever heard of R. Bud Dwyer? The guy
I've heard of Bud Dwyer.
Yeah. It was a guy who he publicly shot himself live on television. I compared it to that. Yeah.
Well, for your career, maybe.
Career suicide.
There is the part in the video where she's like, "My PR team told me not to say anything."
That's the funniest part.
Didn't say I couldn't sing anything.
Which, everyone, I guess it's a reference to fucking Victorious, which was like a Nickelodeon show.
Oh no.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's how you know. That's how you know she's not a pedophile.
Can we also just talk about how a 36-year-old woman is just spending her time with teenagers? How fucking sad is that?
Sending them her underwear.
Quite sad.
Yeah, it's like,
wait, what? Okay,
yeah.
I'm not up to date on all of the details, but
yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday that was like, it was somebody defending her, going like, "What's the worst thing she's done? What? Sending a 13-year-old her underwear? That's not a sex crime."
Yeah, she had sent some underwear. She was in a group with chat members between the ages of 14 and 16, asking for a quote-unquote ass photo, asking female fans to describe their first period, and making fun of a fan who got a tattoo in her honor.
Yeah, that's insane.
Hey, admittedly, getting a tattoo of... And by saying this, I've sealed somebody doing this ironically. Getting a tattoo of a YouTuber is kind of weird, yo.
Yeah, it's weird, but like, if you're in that position, don't be like, haha, you stupid.
Although,
be like, oh,
I'll say this: if you get the podcast tattoo logo tattooed on yourself, you're gonna be put as an album art mostly for shame. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will make fun of you in that instance.
You could do it. It will be for shame.
We'll make fun of you out of love.
I think there was a lady. I've heard the story about. I think it was like the Anime Man or one of those people on the Trash Taste podcast. At a convention, and some lady came up and was like, "You need to sign my baby," or something. It was some ridiculous shit where the guy just had this existential crisis.
I'm not gonna sign your baby, dude.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I'll sign your tits, but I don't know about your baby.
I'll sign any part of your body. There you go.
Except your child.
Yeah. Anything that came out of your body? No.
Yeah, I think that's a very good. That's a good policy to have in general. Don't make contact with anything that came out of someone's body,
unless you know if that's what you're coming in contact with. There you go.
True.
Well, I mean, you would know it's a baby, anyways.
Hey, I've seen that movie, Little Man. That one of those Damon Wayans movies. I don't know. We're going on a tangent now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah,
we brought Damon Wayans to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You're walking away from that.
It's really him.
Yeah.
That's free.
It really do be. God, I'm just looking at her fucking... Like, I'm looking at these DMs that she has in her group, and she's talking about a period conversation here. This is apparently towards like minors. Example: I thought I shit myself because the blood was so dark in my underwear. Like, she's saying this to like 14-year-olds, which is weird.
Can I go home now?
I mean, her song constantly, well, not constantly, when she deigns to come close to addressing what's actually being said, she'll just say that, like, I was too open with my fans years ago because I was a loser and I didn't know boundaries, which is, like, fair, but that's not really exactly what, that doesn't exactly describe fully what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the quote here. Many years ago, I used to message my fans, not in a creepy way like a lot of you are trying to suggest, which that doesn't rhyme. It was more like a loser kind of way, where I was just trying to be besties with everybody. Which, I mean, we both can attest to this. Like, yeah, we have group chats where we got some fans that we talk with. That's not necessarily an uncommon thing.
I've never talked about details that personal.
Yeah, I can promise you on
that's a bit far.
Both of our ends, yeah, it's like I've never done anything like that with any of my fans.
Yeah, not with any. I mean, certainly not with like a full group of, not even just. I mean, a group of people in general, like all praising you and like, it's like sharing weird personal details. I mean, we have like a thing on the server where you could talk about like sexual experiences. There's the air vent chat where you can get personal, but like
but that's more just a everyone kind of thing. It's not really
well, it is, and I don't really feel comfortable going in there because it's like, well, that's not my business really. But to have, I mean, not even just a one-on-one, and not even just with fans who are of age. Obviously, they're all 14 to 16.
Yeah, it's like
very, very strange.
This is beyond like normal. Like, she's trying to play this off as more normal than it would, like normal than it actually is, I should say.
Yeah.
Well, she's trying to not address any of the specific stuff and just, let your mind be like, oh, well, she never, because she also says like, I never had any bad intentions or whatever. Like, oh, well, she can't be that bad of a person. She didn't say specifically what she did, but it can't have been that bad. She said she didn't do all the creepy things, so that has to be true because she's a good person.
Yeah, and
that's so.
I love a genius annotation here because this really helps me out. Yeah, she was in a group called Colleen's Weenies, which she allegedly asked for pictures of a 12-year-old's ass after he said, "My ass looks so good today, y'all." Later in the song, she admits she overshared of a group chat. This may be referring to her trauma dumping to her own fans.
Honestly, I think everybody's weird in this scenario.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fans are young.
The fans are like, again, they're kids. I mean, I was a dumbass kid at one point. I get it.
You want to be friends with the person you're looking up to or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't know boundaries necessarily.
I would say it's all parasocial, but like, she was in the group chat with them.
Yeah, it's like she was egging it on entirely.
Well, I think that's still parasocial. I'm not.
Tell you what, chat members, someone tell us in the comments down below.
Listeners, yes, please engage. Engagement question.
Yes.
Yeah, all of our friends in our group chat. Yes,
all of our close friends, listener.
You're listening right now. Yes, you're my best friend.
Yeah. Oh crap! Yeah, she's just, the whole thing also was 10 minutes long, which, let's be honest here, that was an ad play. That was a fucking ad play.
Like, it was just over 10 minutes. Like,
10 minutes and 19 seconds.
8 minutes, 30 seconds, or 13 minutes. Sure, you had some stuff to put in there, but 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not sure because I think it's actually 8 minutes now is the limit.
It might be.
I don't even know.
It might be like extra ads at 10. I don't know, but she did have that part in the video where she pretends to turn off the camera and then
looks and then just kind of stops.
She's like, actually, it was very like musical theater, like you're saying. She's like a theater kid. It's like very like, actually, this makes me want to break into song. Fiddle-dee-dee, I didn't touch kids. Fiddle-dee-dee.
I remember that side quest in Oblivion.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very over theatrical.
it's the most impressive career suicide I've ever seen.
I mean,
like, if she had not made this video at all, we wouldn't be talking about it. All of the people who've made videos about this would not have talked about it. Wouldn't have known about
Exactly. Like, or even if she had made the video, but she didn't put her fucking ukulele in it, no one would have cared because
Yeah.
who the fuck is paying attention to
It would've-
Miranda Sings?
it. It would have been embarrassing, but it wouldn't have been as embarrassing.
probably
Yeah.
what would have happened would have been she wouldn't have brought out the ukulele, but she probably would have said most of the same things.
Oh,
and would have still dodged what happened and everything. And so
That's
probably,
just standard apology video stuff.
well, this wasn't an apology though. This was
Well-
just like this. None of this happened. All of the things that made me look bad aren't real.
Yeah.
But
I guess
yeah,
it's more
no,
accurate. I guess it's more accurate to call it like addressing stuff or addressing the criticisms or drama or stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. But I mean, I don't know if this would have necessarily saved her. It wouldn't have drawn so much attention. And now everybody is like, "What the fuck, bitch?" What probably would have happened is like, she would have not really addressed it without the fucking ukulele, and then another video or two would come out being like, "Well, actually, this is what she really did," and then that would get popular and like something like that. But she just fucking fast tracked it, with the ukulele, which I didn't know the ukulele was such a high speed, high intensity instrument, but it sure feels that way.
It's a sort of light bubbly instrument.
Yeah.
It's like, ukuleles, honestly, I think have been fucking ruined by honestly, by white women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was about
I
to say.
I said on stream yesterday, I want to know if there are any like Hawaiian people who are listening who can like attest to, do you guys even want to have claim to the ukulele anymore after like this video and after everything else? I mean, after the game ukulele, I mean, that was bad enough.
I haven't thought about that game in a while.
Yeah.
Nobody has.
Man, speaking of poorly built, rushed things, do you guys want to talk about the OceanGate sub?
I guess so.
That sounds like a good idea.
I was following this because I was like, okay, this, like, how do you fuck up a submarine? Because it seems like they've designed them pretty
easily.
well.
We've kind of had that technology for a while. You'd think it would be pretty idiot-proof by now.
The guy,
You'd think.
the guy behind this, whose name is Stockton Rush, which already sounds like a hilarious name, until I tell you his full name is Richard Stockton Rush III.
Oh, I knew he'd be the third. God
Yeah. Where it's like, one, why would you go by Stockton Rush when you have literally Dick Rush is your name?
Dick Rush.
If my name was Dick Rush, I'd be telling every single fucking person I met that my name was Dick Rush.
That's his name when he became a crime novelist. You just haven't seen his books yet.
They may be down if you. This dude was loaded, like loaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those weirdos who I've determined most billionaires are fucking weirdos.
Oh yeah.
So instead of wanting to go to space, he wanted to just like live in the ocean, basically.
That's fair.
And he decided to start a company. He was trying to buy a company that was one of the deep sea submersible companies, but he bought one that was like smaller and then built it up into OceanGate. And essentially, for the last few years, he's been trying to get this Titan submersible, which quickly I'll send a photo to you guys to see what it looks like.
It is very Wish looking. Looks like he got that shit off of Wish. AliExpress ass submarine.
That's not the right one. Fuck. 1 second. This is great podcasting. Sorry.
There was this guy that I think Jabroni Mike or maybe Joel was talking about, where they were There's this guy who is building like a submarine, and he's doing it all by himself, and it's like this weird little wooden submarine, and it's like he's been reported on in the newspapers, and like he will die, but people are still just encouraging him. It's weird. I think it looked stupider than this. I'm now looking at the image. Yeah, it looks like a sperm.
So I'm sending about 3 images because you just got to see one. They screwed you into this fucking thing.
Yeah, they locked you in like fucking Iron Lung.
Yeah, I'm about to say, literally Iron Lung Simulator.
Like, I watched like just now, Joel's Iron Lung stream, and it is shocking how similar it is.
Yeah, here is a like descriptive image. I'll just send you. Yeah, this is supposed to go down to all the way to the Titanic, which is 4,000 meters underwater. The problem is,
I mean, people have explored the Titanic before.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, this went down multiple times. I believe it went down. Let me see here. I'm trying to see how many times this went. I think it's like somewhere near like 10 or 20 times. I'm gonna say it's roughly 10, 20 times.
I mean, the big question to me now is, when is the Internet Historian video happening?
Oh God, hopefully soon.
Give it like 8 years.
There's a lot to go over. This company is embarrassing.
Wow.
But yeah, five people went down in it. They didn't last very long. The best way I can describe it is, it was the CEO. The CEO actually went down and died on the ship with it. It was him, a French sea explorer named Paul Henry Nargolet, a British businessman named Hamish Harding, a Pakistani British businessman named Shazda Dawood, and his 19-year-old son, which the one I feel the worst is the 19-year-old son. And the problem is like, it got even worse as more shit came out, and people were kind of hoping for positive news. Because apparently he didn't want to go on this fucking thing, and he only did it for a Father's Day gift. Yeah. Which...
Like, I am all for bullying... Not bullying,
well, like, making fun of...
Yeah, like a bunch of billionaires,
the stupid elite that like
a bunch of billionaires who, in their own hubris, decided that they wanted to go down and explore the wreckage of a great tragic disaster.
Yeah,
but I draw the line at like making fun of the kid, because the kid didn't want to go. He's just a kid anyway, so if he did want to go, like, I made stupid decisions when I was 19.
Yeah.
That's just, man, it sucks.
It sucks.
It's like he was just trying to do something that his dad wanted to do, which, I mean, hey, I feel like we've all done that before. You know, we've all done something we didn't want to do for somebody. Make fun of the CEO who literally, like, in so much hubris, was so...
locked his kid in that death machine.
I mean, also, you have a dad who wanted to go on this fucking trip, and... You know, this guy has so many quotes you can find. My favorite one I'll read out in a second here, but he has so many quotes about just saying, like, oh, safety's a joke. Oh, we don't need safety.
Tough.
This was inevitable.
Yeah.
Us talking about this happening would have probably been, if not now, it would have happened later. You know?
Yeah, maybe in like a year or two.
Yeah, give it one more year and this would have happened. Because the quote I have here... in a 2022 podcast, reporter David Pogue Rush discussed his attitude towards what he perceived as excessive safety precautions, which this needs engraved on his fucking tombstone here. You know, at some point, safety is just pure waste. I mean, if you want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything. At some point, you're just going to take some risk, and it really is a risk or reward question. I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules. Which, I don't have the sound effect. I don't have a sound effect, but...
Do it. Is there soundboards? Oh, there is soundboards.
There's soundboards. I don't know if it'll show up on... There you go. There you go. Played through.
There we go.
Now, see, here's the other weirdo part where I think, like, this guy had a had like a weird fetish for the Titanic, because this is one of those
it's like the thing they have to conquer for them to feel like they matter as a rich person.
Then he married a woman in 1986 named Wendy Whale. She was a pilot and a teacher, had 2 children. She is the great-great-granddaughter of 2 people who died in the Titanic. Yeah.
How long did that marriage last?
They were still married until... here, hang on.
If it didn't end before, it definitely ended recently.
I can tell you when it ended.
Recently annulled.
June 18th, 2023 is when it ended, Claw.
So he was actually in a marriage with this woman.
Yeah,
who's just because of her legacy or something.
I don't even know, but it's like a fucking weird coincidence.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, weird coincidence. We don't want to necessarily say that. I mean, it could be that him meeting.
Well, I mean,
her
he's dead. He's not going to sue us.
I mean, it's just not the decent thing to do, even if he is an asshole. But maybe him marrying her is what fueled his interest in this thing. You know, that might be.
That's possible.
It's possible because they were she was the great granddaughter of 2 people that were. If you remember the Titanic movie, the couple that went to sleep in the bed.
No, I never saw the movie. No.
Oh shit! Holy shit!
I've absorbed it through osmosis. And
that's fair. I'm not going to recommend watching that movie. It's very long.
As long as she's not the granddaughter of Jack and Rose, then I don't know anybody else.
That's fair. She didn't get painted like a French girl. Don't worry. But yeah, no, this whole fucking thing, and then the whole government got called out. Everybody spent 3 days looking for him, and they were probably dead. Honestly, in the first 40 minutes.
Why was everybody so amused by this? Why did everybody latch onto this so much?
Honestly, it was the hubris of the guy, because as more and more interviews came out, it was so baffling because this guy just tempted fate with so many interviews.
And fate said, "All right, let's go."
I bet.
Fate showed up like the fucking death character from the Puss in Boots movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wrecked his shit.
It's like I feel bad for the families around it, and I feel bad for the employees because he fired a lot of people that were telling him, "Hey, this is a safety issue. What the fuck are you doing?" Because he used
OSHA violations.
Yeah,
what's that?
OSHA violations. He used carbon fiber instead of like a certain kind of steel, I believe. Which carbon fiber is good, but it's not as durable as you'd want for something that you're going down 4,000 meters.
Yeah, with all the pressure and everything.
You want something that can last longer than maybe like 20 trips down, or if it's easy to repair and doesn't just it fucking shatters into a million pieces when it breaks.
Well, is that what happened to it?
Pretty much. Yeah, too much pressure, it cracked, and the whole thing just kind of ripped apart.
Yeah, it happened in the space of a second, and it got hotter than the sun in there.
Yeah. So they didn't feel it.
Thankfully, yeah, it was quick. It sucks that that's a good thing.
It's honestly probably the best way to go out.
Yeah.
In that scenario,
before you even notice.
People were talking about them dying, resorting to cannibalism and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like they had.
I think that's another part of why it got so popular.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you also had news stations making Chiron saying how much air they had left.
Yeah, the countdowns.
Yeah,
that's psychotic.
It was a true blue back to old school panic television. Children are in a well and they've got this much till they can get them out. It was great.
Every now and then, I think I'm like, wow, isn't that like Idiocracy? And then I'm like, I haven't seen Idiocracy in a long time. Maybe I should.
It's been too long for me too.
I kind of want to watch it again now. Fuck. You know what? I might be doing after this podcast.
Just something in the air makes us all want to watch Idiocracy again. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
We could do allegation time because I got another thing about Jonathan Majors here. That's something.
Well, I mean,
quietly Google who that is.
That's the MCU's Kang the Conqueror.
that's the new Thanos in the MCU, and the only thing I ever saw him in ever was the last episode of Loki, where he pretty much gave the most interesting performance I'd ever seen in a Marvel show or movie. And
I
so
mean, that's
was,
not saying much.
perhaps, but I was very excited that he was going to be the guy who was going to be like the next, villain. And then it turned out he was a real life villain. So how about that?
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Funny how
sometimes
it
it's
turns
good
out.
typecasting.
maybe he's just really getting into the method acting.
Yeah, just like Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I've done really good. I've restricted myself from going to see that turd.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure there's a cam rip somewhere out there.
Oh, it got leaked on Twitter like for a whole day at one point.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
I know. I definitely saw fucking Christopher Reeve.
Wait,
Yeah.
what, he's in there?
Well, no. What they did was they even admitted they took some cameos from fucking YouTube too. They admitted that as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
Cameos?
they
Wait, what?
they edited a whole bunch of characters because it's a semi-multiversal film.
Oh God.
I'm getting so fucking tired of multiverses.
I'm tired of multiverses when it's like I don't know how to describe it other than when it's not done like everything everywhere all at once.
Hey guys, you know this character? Here they are.
It's like
I mean,
it
the new
can make
Spider-Man
sense.
has a multiverse thing.
Yeah.
So people are really liking that.
Well, it's because it's well made. If it
Yeah.
was less well made, it would piss people off.
Yes.
Like imagine if DC did a. That's what we're talking about. Never mind.
Yeah. Imagine if
Well,
DC
DC
fucked up. What are you talking about?
DC is the
Ooh.
one who I think invented the multiverse concept, so it does make more sense with them. And it
They
even
did
makes
it for
sense to
comics. They were
Well, yeah,
revolutionary
for
comics.
comics.
For movies,
Well, it even makes sense for the Flash to be a vehicle by which to do that, but it's just it doesn't make sense to have Ezra Miller, and I mean most of it is just like this stupid fan service shit, and it's not really in service of much of a story, I would imagine. I mean, I suppose I have not seen it. It stands
from what
to
I
be-
heard, it's just awful.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think it's more of a success at least than the Shazam 2 movie, which was apparently pretty good, but it was like the biggest flop ever.
It was okay. The best way to describe it is like a mediocre sequel to a film I thought was pretty fun.
I like Shazam 1 a lot. I don't know anything about the sequel, but then there's also the terrible Black Adam movie, which I know nothing about.
Yeah,
I
I've
say
seen
that-
it and I
I've
can't
re-
even tell you if I'm being honest.
I like how I just said it was a terrible Black Adam movie, as if that I know nothing about.
I'd say it's
Like,
forgettable.
I just know it's terrible, even though I know nothing about it. That was completely subconscious, but that's funny.
Also, R.I.P. Alan Arkin. He just died today.
Yeah.
Pour one out for my man.
Yeah. Rest in peace, dude from Edward Scissorhands. I can't really remember everything else he's been in, but yeah, rest in
All I
peace.
remember is Little Miss Sunshine and
Oh,
Think the
yeah.
Legends are coming.
I think he played
Oh,
some
lucky.
voice acting roles too.
He was in Catch-22. Also, yeah, I guess we could talk about have you guys been keeping up with the FTC and Xbox thing? I guess we'll talk some gaming.
I haven't heard much. Well, real quick though, before we talk about this, I do want to have a little bit of a segue.
Ooh, yes.
I think the funniest thing about that fucking sub is that they
yeah.
use the trademark I am a PC gamer, but I am too cheap to get an Xbox 360 controller.
Oh shit.
Logitech, what was it, G710 or something? Like,
Oh,
if you
yeah,
just look this up, it's the standard Logitech controller.
Yeah, it's a very
And-
traditional Logitech. I mean,
It is like you'll find some going for a decent amount, but like I remember back then in like 2008, something like that, I got one of these. It was the cheapest fucking thing imaginable.
Yeah, it's like it's literally the shittiest kind of controller you can kind of get for.
Yeah, it also has symmetrical sticks, which means it's evil and Satan. I hate it.
See,
I had
wouldn't-
one of these in like 2005 or something, and I remember the the thumb pads for the sticks came off, so I just had like pointed, exposed, like sharp sticks on the thing. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, they could have used the fucking Mad Catz controller and probably gotten a better deal out of it.
Honestly, yeah.
And then the 3D printed like stick like risers that they have, that's also fucking embarrassing too. Because I'm looking at them right now and like, yeah, that's a controller, but they printed like these little stick risers. Like what?
It's like they are real arcade gamers.
And
Yeah.
then, like,
You're not going to get precision, like super precision, out of that.
yeah, I wouldn't want to do the GTA 5 submarine on this fucking thing.
Yeah. And also, look at that fucking horrible D-pad on it.
I wouldn't even trust this shit with Minecraft, honestly.
Yeah.
Look at the little light, LED light thing that's like off center.
Yeah, like right next to the turbo button.
Yeah.
I think
They couldn't center a light.
That's literally a turbo mode. Yeah.
Oh, see that's what did it. That's what made the crash. They turned turbo mode on and they pressed forward and they would just.
Why are we crashing?
They turned off their computer before their thing said it was safe to do so, and look what happened.
You know what? Actually, one of those
They
controller
held the power
buttons
button too
is
long.
vibration, so they might have vibrated a sub to death. Explains why they imploded.
Yeah, it was like when it in Ape Escape when an ape hits you, it's like.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
That's what happened to the sub.
This thing has at most what 4, 8, 10 buttons basically, plus 3 face buttons or 3 like start, back, and mode button.
2, 4, 6.
So this thing can't have
19 buttons because you've got L3, R3, start face buttons, the ABXY, D-pad,
I count
4
D-pad.
buttons.
Yeah.
Then
I guess the D-pad
L1,
can count
R1.
those buttons, but I can't imagine they were using the D. I mean, maybe. I guess I don't know how many controls they were using on this thing though.
I mean, they had. I'm reading here. They had thrusters. They had thrusters. I should say they had thrusters. It seems like 2 of them, so you'd probably put both thrusters on maybe like one of the L and R buttons, like L1, R1, L2, R2.
Literal video game controls.
I mean, the thing is, like, a video game controller isn't out of the realm of possibility. The Navy uses 360 controllers still.
Well, that's because the 360 controller is a well-made.
It's fucking goated. That I think you can drop. I thrown a 360 controller across the room and it'd be perfectly fine.
Same.
Like, you can't drop a fucking PlayStation 5 or 4 or fucking Xbox One controller sometimes.
Yeah. Like I'm very careful with my Series X controller because I know if that shit breaks, that's $70.
You drop those on your
$400.
thumbsticks, good luck.
I will say the Switch controller, the Pro controller is fine, although
the base Joy-Con.
The Joy-Cons, good lord.
Yeah.
I mean, when I bought my first Switch, it was the day the Switch Lite came out. I got one. And I think the left thumbstick was just fucked right out the box.
Seriously?
Yeah, I replaced it with a different color. I had a yellow one. I replaced it with a blue one, and it was fine. It's still fine as far as I know. I eventually got a normal Switch, and that's never really had any issues. I do have some issues with the PS4 controllers, though. I had one that was like. I got my PS4 used back in like 2018, and the controller it came with was broken very quickly. So I don't know how much wear and tear there was on that. But then the controller I got shortly after. I mean, I don't use my PS4 much anymore, but it is starting to disintegrate at this point. And the PS5 is apparently like the controller is very, very weak. People have already had to go through multiple of them.
I mean, I like the controller on PlayStation 5. It's very comfortable. It's probably the best symmetrical sticks layout one, I'd say.
I would say, honestly, my Nintendo fan is showing a bit here, but I think the best symmetrical sticks layout is the Wii U gamepad. The Pro controller, it's a bit too small.
Yeah.
But the gamepad, your hand rests just right on that thing.
See,
I
I would
never
agree
had
for
a
some
Wii
games.
U. I only ever watched a lot of Scott the Woz, but I never had a Wii U.
I've had a Wii U.
I recommend it
It's a
if
neat little
only
controller.
I recommend it if for no other reason than you can hack it.
Oh yeah, and plus
And
playing all of, like the NES, SNES games on that.
yeah, you can
Super
play
easy.
everything up to and including Wii U. It doesn't do PS1 emulation that well, sadly.
Yeah, it's a little rough on that, but you still get near perfect GameCube emulation too.
Yeah, there are some compatibility issues, but unless you want to play fucking I don't know, Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely would want to play that game, Tristan, so I guess never mind.
I will say this, the only other symmetrical controller I really liked, but this one will get me laughed at, the Stadia controllers, sticks, never... I can... Well, okay, alright, but pushing them, I can push left and right all the way in without ever touching my thumbs at all. It's nice for a bigger hand, but...
I guess that's fair.
Hey, that's why,
Did you hear that,
that's why I buy these for super cheap.
Did you hear that Google is kind of reviving Stadia by letting you play games through YouTube?
Browser-ish games for YouTube. It's... Google...
They never learn.
The thing is, here's the thing. Google was probably the closest to the most viable streaming option.
Which is frightening.
Well, I hate to say it like this, and it's a dark future, but it's the way it's going. We're going all digital slow, faster than ever.
Half of the fucking modern games on Switch are already cloud versions.
Oh yeah. Steam is, name me a disc-based, PC release in the last 25 years.
It's a good thing you said in the last 25 years, because I just turned around. I was going to grab something.
I was at a GameStop recently, and they actually had the saddest little, maybe 10 games in a corner, back of the store corner, PC game shelf. They had
they were all probably codes in boxes.
Probably it was Fallout 76. They had I know that one was.
That's absolutely a code in a box.
FF14, I think.
That was a code in a box even for consoles.
Yeah. No. Fallout 76. It did have a disc release, but it was literally just like a launcher disc, and you had to download everything.
Wasn't that the one that had the cardboard disc that you had the fucking
on PC?
I think that was the special. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of PC collector's editions are like that. Black Ops 4's one was. I remember that.
Yeah.
I will say that we're going all digital maybe, but there's a lot of fucking weird stuff on the Switch. Just weird. Indie games and stuff that you've never heard of that are physical and are, probably $100 in Canadian money. And sometimes they're limited run, they'll be they'll come out with some indie game for a month, and then it'll go away, and then you'll only be able to get it for $400 on eBay or something. So for that, I guess the Switch is pretty good for physical ownership.
The problem is also now though it's kind of getting to that point in the lifespan where everything's too big for the cheaper the Switch carts. I should say.
I was looking over the Metal Gear Solid collection for Switch.
Yep, I was about to bring it
and
up.
without the bonus content, that's 30 gigabytes.
Yeah. And the Switch
with
cart,
the bonus content, it's 60.
Yeah, the Switch cart is only going to have the first, I think Metal Gear Solid 1, they've said, and the rest you have to download.
That sucks. Every single one does this. It's if you
with Spyro, I think the first Spyro was on the card, and then the other two you had to download.
Yeah, they always do this too, because whenever you get a game collection on Switch, and it's in a card, it's the smallest one on the card, and you have to download the larger ones. They couldn't just be you know what? We respect our consumers' hard drive space, so we're gonna put the biggest one here on the cart. The smaller ones, they can be downloads. No, it's fucking 17 gigabyte download but the other one's like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they did that also with Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue. They had the like duo thing with that, and you would just by default install Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue, and you'd be like, oh, great, and then it turns out that it's actually just the first game. I think that was the digital one too.
To be
Where
fair,
I downloaded it and I'm like, oh, it's the whole game? No, I have to
Yeah.
download the other game as DLC. All right.
yeah. Although to be fair, Assassin's Creed 4 is pretty damn good. So it's not.
Yeah. I that was a game where I was on my Switch on the toilet taking a shit playing Assassin's Creed 4 and I was like, wow.
Hell yeah.
Because
that's
earlier in the day I was playing my Game Boy Color, and so there was just a stark noticeable difference in like technology over
Quality contrast just instantly. Like,
Yeah.
hang on here. I'll say this, like, as long as it's not like, as long as it's just a download and it's not like a download code, that's the worst part is when you buy it and it's only a download code, so you can never resell it. You'll never get any of the fucking value with it. Because there's a couple games on Switch that it's literally just you buy it and then it comes with a download token. It's like, motherfucker, I'm gonna get no value out of this at all.
I mean,
then
you could get one of those things where it's like a card. You get like a fucking phone card or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they just give you that kind of download code for a specific game. But I see those at like a Best Buy or something, and it's like, you can get this card to download fucking Breath of the Wild, or you could just buy the game there for the same price, or just download it digitally normally.
Yeah.
I don't even know why that's an option.
You can also just get it used for a little bit cheaper, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the only time I ever... It's sad because I realize like most of my purchases are digital now, but I only really purchase digital when they're on sale, Well,
I got fucked over because I bought FF16 and it was like 93 something Canadian, and then I found out that the physical copy is like 89 Canadian.
Oh shit.
And so I got it on fucking PSN, and I could have got the disc and the case and everything, and I just didn't, and I spent more money to not do that.
Y'all remember when everyone was pushing for digital distribution and everyone said, oh, it's going to be cheaper because you don't have to produce a disc and a manual and a case? We were fucking idiots for thinking that.
And then they came up with the excuse that games cost too much, which, I mean, I guess they do cost too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to even argue that much against them raising the price of games when you see how fucking big a lot of them are, but then they also have like microtransactions and shit, or they just don't include as much content as they used to. Like, that's the thing, that Nintendo games might not have like microtransactions necessarily, but they'll raise the price on their shit and it'll be like, hey, this Mario Tennis game has even less features than ever. This fucking Mario whatever game is like worse than the last one from 2006. And, when you bought it in 2006 for like former full price, it did technically cost more.
Yeah.
It is just kind of a sign of inflation, I guess. But...
So, I can tell you 2 big budgets for a couple games if you want to hear about those.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, some of the FTC things were very poorly redacted. So, one of Sony's articles about the cost of Horizon Forbidden West and Last of Us Part 2, both those got revealed.
This.
Yeah. So, The Last of Us Part 2, which was in development for, let me see here. It was 20 months of development, which means 2015 to 2020. And it had 200 full-time employees working on it, with $220 million to develop. Which, you also got to think there, that's also not counting the budget for marketing.
Yeah.
Which is usually double that.
Yeah, remember when Destiny was huge because they spent $500 million on like marketing Destiny or whatever?
I would say they probably spent... This is a rough out of my ass estimation, so if people get pissed at me, I don't really care. I'd say they spent about $450 million marketing Last of Us 2. I could almost guarantee that.
That's so crazy because they could have just had their insane Twitter fans do it for free.
They could have. You know what they could have done? They could have just put $220 million in a room, and I would have paid $60 to go see it. I think I'm just stealing a hack
Honestly,
comedy
yeah.
bit, but I would have just went to go see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And it's like, to spend that much money on a game, like, I guess it makes more sense with Destiny because it was a live service.
Yeah, because
Spend that much
Yeah.
money on a game that's like a beginning, middle, and end game that doesn't really have, like, people have not talked about Last of Us 2. outside
basically
of
until the show
making
came back.
jokes. Well, yeah, outside of making jokes about it or whatever, people played it and they're done with it now, and that's
Yes.
like about it. It doesn't really have the staying power of even like not even a live service, but like a Breath of the Wild or something. People are still playing that.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
are still finding shit to do in. Well, I guess less Breath of the Wild now, more Tears of the Kingdom, and Tears of the Kingdom's kind of new. But like a
They're
couple months
still-
ago, people were still finding new shit in Breath of the Wild.
People are still finding stuff in Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's, I think we're living in a time where the budget for everything is just going to get bigger and bigger. And the problem is, I mean, I think we mentioned in the first episode, like, we're real lucky that it hasn't gone higher than 70. Because that's one of those things where it's like, it could always go back to, pre-90s, back when we were using cartridges, that kind of pricing.
Yeah, I guess so.
And-
Although, I mean, honestly, I just want more games that are like not super mega budget games.
I think we're getting a lot more AA studios. You're seeing like Annapurna today or yesterday just had they just had a conference there, basically like a sort of indie prestige AA.
Yeah, they're making a Blade Runner game.
Yep, they're also making a Silent Hill game, but still has not been shown since fucking 8 months ago. Come on.
That's Silent Hill F.
No, they're doing Townfall.
Oh,
Yeah, which-
that was the
which-
weird looking one.
Everyone keeps calling Downfall or Downpour.
Townpour.
I like that.
I'd play Silent Hill Townpour. Fuck yeah.
Just put the town in the pitcher and make a little cup of town.
the
Hell
town and
yeah.
the coconut and mix it all about. When you talk about AA studios, I think about how there is I don't know if it's any good or not, but there is a sequel, a long-awaited sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Oh yeah,
that came out
Cosmic
like a
Shades.
Seriously?
year ago or something. Yeah, like because they made the remake of that, and then now
That
there's
sold,
that game.
yeah.
Yeah, that sold well, and they also, I don't know if it was the same studios. I know it was also THQ though that made the Destroy All Humans remakes, and I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any plans to do like a proper
just-
third game that isn't the shitty 360 one or the Wii one or whatever. But like, that might happen too.
I think they
Honestly-
just put something out.
Honestly, I am all for like new entries in long dead franchises. Like I'm tired of remakes.
Yeah.
Good lord, we've had so fucking many. But like new entries, hell yes.
Well, I was watching the Scott the Woz Switch collection video that was over 3.5 hours long, but it was on his
Good
second
lord.
channel and it was fully edited and everything. But he was talking at one point. He brought, he got to Metroid Dread, and I was just thinking like Metroid Dread. 19 years between that and Fusion, which is like its actual predecessor, and it doesn't feel like a day out of step necessarily. It's not even made by Nintendo. It's made by like some weird Spanish indie developer that made some of the worst Castlevania games, and yet it feels perfectly like a Metroid game. And the lore doesn't. They have lore stuff in Metroid Dread that feels like, I don't know. It's difficult to say. Like a lot of times, like with FF7 Remake, there are all these people that are like, "Oh, this is just fan fiction. All this new stuff you're adding to the lore is just fan fiction." That kind of thing. And with Dread, I don't know, man. There's like, I mean, I guess it's been a couple of years. I could spoil it. When they have the fucking Metroid suit at the end, it's like, this has been the culmination of this whole fucking franchise. She now is Metroid, baby. It was very
Why?
cool as a Metroid fan.
Why can't Metroid crawl?
I think she could in this game, actually, a little bit. It was crazy.
I really do have to play this game.
And I've played it, but I want to replay it again soon.
It came out at that time where I was unable to use my Switch.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah,
It's
just kind of passed me by.
If you could
But I'm
just
gonna have to get it
really
sometime.
put on, if you could just play it at your friend's house, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. you
Cough,
can,
cough.
uh,
Yeah.
Yes,
probably
yes.
enjoy it
I'll
that
go. I'll go over at some point. I think I have to go over to my friend's house to play. Fuck, what was it? I forgot the name. I'm stupid.
You're good.
Something
Pikmin.
new.
You talking about Pikmin?
No,
Ah,
it was
you
something
should
in the
be.
game. Yeah, I've never really been much into Pikmin.
Oh, my brother. We're reading good Pikmin related recently. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, and 4 all on Switch.
Hey, I'm very happy that Pikmin's doing better than Chibi Robo. Not because of anything against Chibi Robo, but I'm just happy that
You're
somebody
just happy it's not in that state. Yeah.
are happy.
I liked Chibi Robo.
Oh, you're good,
Just
brother.
the-
I know
Mine.
where
The
you're coming
rest
from.
suck.
Wasn't there that 3DS game where it was like a shitty? Didn't they do that for Pikmin too?
Yeah,
Yeah, they did. Hey,
as
Pikmin.
Scott the Waz has said about Pikmin Ziplash, not Pikmin Ziplash, Chibi Robo
Robo.
Ziplash. This game blows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows and sucks. I tell you what.
Best vacuum cleaner I ever fucking saw.
Oh man. Yeah, this year has been fucking crazy for games.
Yeah, it's been like 2017.
It really has. Honestly, we had 2 rough years kind of during COVID because 2021 you can kind of tell like when it hit the wall.
Yeah, because like 2020, you had games still coming out.
Yeah, you had
People
games
still working on them.
finishing out the door. Like they were already in a point where they could just wrap everything up, send it out the door.
Animal Crossing coming in basically in clutch
Oh,
right as the pandemic started.
it almost makes you think Nintendo caused it.
You have Shiggy Miyamoto just sitting there like the dad from Evangelion.
Oh.
He's just like, release it.
Good job saying the name Evangelion the wrong way. People are going to engage. There's going to be comments. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good.
We'll see now. I
I've
have
always
to
been a public-minded person.
now see. I have to say it wrong to get the controversial comments. Evangelion.
Evangelion this.
I mean,
Yeah,
hey.
that was also around the same March 2020 was when FF7 remake came out. And
Yep.
also
Yeah, it was.
Doom Eternal, I think, as well.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
basically
Doom
the same
Eternal.
day.
Yeah.
It's getting it's the original Barbie Oppenheimer.
I really want to see both of those back to back at some point.
I'm going to go see both of those back to back.
Which one are you going to see first? That's what I've been
I
wondering.
think Barbie is going to be the infinitely better film. I don't really have much interest.
Honestly,
in
yeah.
Barbie.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm kind
I'm a
of
little more excited for Barbie. What I'm guys here is I'm gonna front load depression. You know, I'm gonna watch Oppenheimer. You know, dude who creates
that's
bomb to
right.
kill millions.
I'm gonna
Oppenheimer
Oppenheimer is that's the optimal. That's the Oppenheimer to hold. That's
Yeah.
terrible. I can't.
Yeah,
do that.
because then you get to sit through Barbie just thinking about that bomb.
No.
Barbie's your victory lap.
What you do is you go in between both Barbie and Oppenheimer. Go to a bar afterwards. Drink for approximately 1 hour, then go watch Barbie. That's the way to do
I'm
it.
just gonna raw dog it. I'm just gonna go straight in.
Oh, I'm literally
Most
drinking
times.
at the theater. I'm drinking during Oppenheimer.
You know, there was the
Nice.
whole. I should do that. They'd have no security stopping me from bringing booze to the theater. Actually, I should definitely do that. No, but they
do that.
Yeah, just get those little tiny like bottle shots and just like put a sling on and just put them in like ammo.
Yeah, this is gonna sound so offensive. You literally have the best way to sneak in liquor.
kind of, yeah, depending on the size of the liquor. Yeah.
Oh, hey, all you gotta do is
I
make a
also-
all you gotta do is
I
make
also
a
get yourself a
reservoir
fake
in
hand.
the arm.
Like, I also just have my bag, and I came in with my bag, and like I was expecting, oh, they're gonna fucking check me for my fucking candy and onigiri that I have in my bag, but no, they didn't. Also, yeah, I'm a weeaboo.
Hell yeah, brother.
But no, they what was the movie recently? The one with I forget the name of it. It had A Beau is Afraid was the
Oh
one
yeah,
with
was that
Joaquin
good?
Phoenix. I didn't see it. I don't know, but I do remember that there was some article that came out that was saying Joaquin Phoenix says you should do mushrooms and go see Beau is Afraid. And then the follow-up article was actually he said the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Do
don't
not
do
take
that.
mushrooms and watch this
Whoops.
movie. And
I made a oopsie.
and now I'm thinking about mushrooms and Up and Barbie as a combo.
That could be a wild night. I would be willing to see that.
Not that I would ever endorse such a thing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, of course.
we as a
don't endorse
podcast do
things
not
on the show.
endorse anything that we say. In fact, we say everything ironically, so we've just been saying this as a joke this entire time.
I say,
I actually love symmetrical sticks.
Yeah, Colleen Ballinger, I've been a fan of her for years. I don't know what you're talking about.
never did anything wrong. I say
Pro Jared is my favorite YouTuber.
I say in all my video descriptions that I've never meant anything I've ever said, and I'm 300 mice in a trench coat. So yeah. I mean, I stand by that. That's the true statement.
I am on so many layers of irony, I can't tell if I'm kidding anymore.
The only person I'm truly kidding is myself.
Exactly.
I'm on a lot of layers of irony. I do know if I'm kidding or not, but I'm never gonna tell.
God damn. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say, because we were talking about the prices, there is one game that's kind of lower although it had to remove the physical edition, Alan Wake 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 is only releasing digitally.
Well, they'll probably do a limited run at some point.
I think so. Yeah, THQ Nordic did tweet out they wanted to. So, hey, who knows? Trying to see here. Yeah, also it's going to be Epic Games only for PC.
All right, see that's where I lose interest.
Epic is publishing it though, so it's one of those ones where it's like, if this is how we can get it made, I'll bite the bullet. I guess so. I'm buying it on console because my PC can't run this shit. But
I guess so. But like my whole thing with Epic Games is that they specifically started their own launcher to promote, to basically battle the quote unquote Steam monopoly.
Yeah, they're trying to take market share from Epic, or not from Epic.
Even though, from Valve. But even though they claim to be fighting, the evil Valve monopoly, now there are just games that you can't get anywhere besides Epic, even with Origin and what was the other one? Uplay.
Ubisoft.
Whatever Activision does.
Battle.net.
Like even with those,
Connect.
Even with those, you would have Steam versions, and even with the games that aren't aren't made by EA, Activision, fucking.
And it's only been until recently
Ubisoft.
that Ubisoft hasn't done that as much.
Yeah,
and EA didn't do that for a couple of years, but now they do. It's just it's all. I mean, we're kind of at this point in the industry where it's like the market is slowly shifting, but nobody really knows where it's shifting towards. And I wish it was shifting in a way that made sense, but that's not always possible, Yeah,
I think what's happening specifically with PC game storefronts and launchers is that it's having the de-Netflixification effect. Before you had basically nowhere to get shows unless you wanted to pay out the ass for it, like an overpriced DVD.
Yeah.
So then Netflix comes along and says, "Hey, you can order these and rent them, and we're better than Blockbuster because you don't have to get off your lazy ass." And then they shifted towards, "Oh, hey, we're streaming. Now you can watch it on the internet." But then once Netflix started getting real popular, all of the individual companies that were supplying Netflix shows were like, "Hold on a minute. I can make my own version of Netflix and then get all of the money." And then every single other company had the same idea.
And
so
it
now we have
worked.
fucking Peacock, Hulu. Well, Hulu's different.
Yeah,
HBO Max, Disney Plus. Yep, all of these fucking
list. Just intercut the part from that Red Letter Media video where it's just like General Mills Plus, Star Wars Plus,
Coca-Cola Plus. Yep, fucking
Water Plus.
Post-it Plus, Calorie Mate Plus. All right,
Existence Plus.
I think the same thing is happening with PC games, where before you had to buy a big box PC game, and then Valve is like, "Hey, we're gonna let you download our games directly from us." And then people were like, "Hey, let's put our games on Steam." A lot of people are using that, but then Steam gets really big, and every individual publisher's like, "Hang on a minute."
Yeah.
So now we have, Uplay. I'm not using it.
I mean, the thing that made fucking Steam good to begin with wasn't the fact that they had Valve games and that it was owned by Valve. It was that it was a neutral place that every game was available on.
Yeah, and it has a good interface too.
Like, if you remember the first couple years of Steam, like around the time, like honestly, until about 2008, it was kind of rough.
Yeah,
like, when Half-Life 1 first launched, it was real bad when Half-Life 2 first launched. I mean, but as it improved, it got way better.
It looked like a fucking Windows 98.
Oh, dude, it looked like fucking Winamp, like a Winamp skin.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as good as GameSpy back in the day, I'm sure.
Oh well, no, yeah. GameSpy was also kind of rough, but
I do think that that's just the way that things are going.
Yeah.
Specifically with PC storefronts, because you have Uplay, you have BattleNet, you have Epic,
you've
Origin,
got GOG
all
Galaxy,
these different things. Yeah,
and Xbox also.
They mostly, you have Windows Store. But I think GOG is different because GOG does specifically tend to focus on older games.
Yeah,
and it supplies you with what you need to
Galaxy
actually
as
run
the
it on
launcher
modern
itself.
Systems. I guess so, but you don't have to have the launcher.
Yeah,
you can just
it's like an optional thing.
Yeah, it ain't optional with the other ones though. Sadly.
Oh no, not especially now with the Xbox One. Like you got to be on motherfucking Windows. But I'll say this: I'm interested to see where the chips land, because I think nobody's getting rid of Steam. Steam will never go away at this point. The only thing that'll kill Steam will be Valve.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know how profitable Steam is for Valve.
Oh, Steam is so fucking profitable.
Extraordinarily popular.
From the amount of money they make on CS:GO skins alone, they could probably never make another fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, they can certainly just continue with that. And I mean, if only Netflix had some kind of thing like that printed money so that they could just not have to make terrible decisions.
Well, Netflix is getting into gaming now.
Oh God, are they?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, there was a Netflix Stranger Things game, I think.
Well, what just happened? They announced that another game from Annapurna was coming to Netflix. There are games you can play on Netflix itself, and then if you're a Netflix subscriber and you have their mobile apps, there are games you can play exclusively that are actual full games on Netflix. No, I don't know what it is for Netflix Canada, but
did you guys hear that after Netflix did their fucking password thing, subscriptions went through the roof?
I mean, yeah, and it doesn't entirely surprise. It doesn't entirely surprise me.
I hate people.
I mean,
I don't know how to pirate anymore.
Well, I get where you're coming from.
Subscription, and I've been happy ever since. The one, you know what I regret ending my subscription for was the fucking Criterion collection. That was that was a real good streaming service. I gotta get that
shit on that. But yeah,
it's because it only does good movies instead of fucking Big Mouth.
Yeah, Big Mouth.
A lot of Big Mouth.
Well, as a One Piece fan,
they're
making this One Piece show, and I think it looks pretty good. But I mean, I don't think there's any fucking chance that they ever finish One Piece. It's Netflix. They don't go more than 2 seasons most of the time.
Yeah,
unless it's Big Mouth.
Unless you're Stranger Things.
Watch Big Mouth.
I'll say Stranger Things is the one where it's I'm okay if they're doing more seasons of that. I like it.
Yeah.
But Mother of God, yeah, some of the shows they put on there is who gives a fuck about Love on the Island 17,000? You give me shit I want to know.
For everybody, they gotta have reality shows and whatnot.
I
I don't
mean,
think
yeah,
anybody's
but
going to implode their own streaming service quite as hard. Nobody's going to Colleen Ballinger their own streaming service quite
the,
as hard as HBO Max did, though.
I mean, I don't know. Quibi went
Yeah,
fast and
well, that's
hard.
the thing.
Quibi was nothing to begin with.
That's
Quibi
fair.
was doomed from the start.
Yeah. Quibi
like,
was an embarrassment.
Quibi was more of a Titanic sub, whereas Netflix right now is more of a Colleen Ballinger. That's how we talk in modern internet terms.
It all interconnects.
It's all cyclical.
We're gonna end this with me playing the fucking one note on a guitar over and over again once more.
Hell yeah.
You can put it on repeat forever.
You put that in your bank and smoke it. Oh, hey, tell you what, I do know what I'm going to do with that intro and the other intro I had for episode 1 where I accidentally recorded like 3 minutes early before we introduced. Think I know what I'm doing? Bonus episode with some music.
Oh, well, there you go. I was going to ask, talking about streaming services and whatnot, how you guys feel about Kick, the future of streaming? Twitch, the past of streaming.
I'm going to be honest here. All respect for people wanting to go to a new platform, give it all the attention they want. I respect that. Every time a new platform started, it's horribly died, so I'm gonna wait.
You guys remember VidMe?
I don't.
You boys remember Stream.me?
I don't.
You boys remember Mixer?
I do remember that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Probably not Kick, because it's like run by some kind of weirdo Saudi fucking gambling company or something.
It's getting money from. Admittedly, it's not the most like unnerving Saudi thing, because I've got my opinion on. Well,
they've done worse things.
Well, yeah, the Activision deal is like the moment, like Activision, and if Xbox doesn't get it, it's like they're gonna be snatched up by that Saudi game fund that's owned by the royals. That's its own thing. At least this shady, weird casino is not owned directly by the royals. So
yeah.
One
and also,
positive.
they at least they keep the gambling stuff at least away from every section that isn't gambling.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the biggest thing that's going to keep a lot of people from going is what is it, Aiden Ross?
Yeah, Aiden Ross is like negative PR.
Yeah, I mean, all of these sites that are an alternative to YouTube are always marketed as like, hey, if you've been banned for your various stupid opinions and breaches of terms of service, come here. And then it's like, why would anybody want to go there?
Why would any of the advertisers want to go there? That's the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I've said before, like, I would go over to a site like Kick just to see how much they're fucking serious about the, like, free speech, whatever, free platform, and then can I make fun of the people that run the site? Can I make fun of the top streamers on the site? Can I go to an active
on kick.com?
Can I go to an active stream of one of the top streamers on like Aiden Ross and call him an F slur, by which I of course mean friend? Am I allowed to do that?
You're gonna call him a Funklegunk.
Yeah, a fuddy duddy.
The thing is like my problem is I entirely feel because like Trainwrecks is also one of the people who's involved with owning it. I think he's like 40% co-owner. I'm not certain, but he's also
Trainwrecks is in charge. Great,
but he's for at least a former Twitch streamer, but he's a streamer. It's like he's talked with Aiden on stream multiple times, telling him, "Hey, dude, stop doing what you're doing." It's like I'm not gonna get that kind of like if I was to drop in bombs as much as Aiden Ross was doing, I don't feel like I'd get that same phone call, That's a little bit of favoritism.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of shit. Because, in a company, this is, like, it's a live streaming website. You're supposed to be a company. You're supposed to be a professional, If I don't get that same kind of luxury treatment, if I go dropping, full bore in bombs and I'll get a phone call from Trainwreck saying, hey, man, you gotta chill that out, dude. Come on, man. If I don't get that phone call, then
This is the 17th time we've warned you, dude.
Yeah.
We're only going to give you 20 more times. Come on.
Yeah, you said that certain kind of people have been a problem in humanity forever. Like, keep saying that, dude. Not looking good for us when I get advertised, man.
Well, I'm just saying you have to reword your statement about what types of people can't breed. I'm not even saying don't say it. Just reword it.
Can't you just say death to the Italians?
Yeah, or the French.
Yeah, something that people all agree with.
I think I saw somebody before. Somebody before was like a YouTuber or something that I saw was mentioning about how it's like kind of cringy to make fun of the French and it was Jabroni Mike had somebody in his chat who was like, why does everybody have to make fun of the French and the English? And it's like
French detected.
Because
English detected.
If you make fun of anybody else, you're not really allowed to. The one group of people everybody can agree on that sucks is French people, Canadian French people, and British people.
Yeah, it's like,
if I make fun of, like, the Indonesians, then that has a different fucking tone than if I make fun of the fucking Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, they are easy targets, too. Like,
yeah.
Especially for British.
Like, you don't see African people going, oh, this does not taste like cigarettes and piss.
Listen,
how can I enjoy it?
I went to the Royal Ontario Museum for the first time recently. First time I ever went to a museum, and I would say that the most interesting parts of the museum were the parts that were like dedicated to the Africans and the Polynesian history and stuff like that. And meanwhile, all of the fucking boring whitey European shit was like, I guess that some of the armor was kind of cool and like guns, but I don't know, man. It was just like, a little.
They stole a lot of shit from other places.
Here's the flute that Justice Milliman used when his wife contracted ligma.
The worst part of the museum experience was going into a fucking room where it was like the modern furniture history exhibit, and it was just modern like IKEA furniture, and it's like, why is this even in the fucking museum? I'm sorry, I'm going off on museum.
Very strange.
Oh no, you're good. Somebody there needed an excuse to buy IKEA furniture and secretly did that to steal something.
Yeah, I just wanted a place to sit down.
Oh no, I guarantee that's like a money laundering thing. Someone's like, I want to get IKEA furniture. I've found a way to cook the books. I just gotta make him buy into my modern furniture section.
It's a long con, several years in advance.
Yeah, it's clever. I respect it.
Eventually, he'll get to take it home, and he can enjoy his Billy bookshelf.
Oh yeah, with the Blarge shark. Yeah. No,
Bane, you were going to talk about the FTC thing or whatever before with Xbox.
Yeah. Also, Horizon Forbidden West. I forgot to mention that one's budget, because that one was $212 million, but with 300 developers. That also only had basically a 4-year development cycle that kind of extended into a 5-year because of COVID. But it would have been out like a year prior if it wouldn't have been for COVID. So yeah, about 4-year development time. Yeah, this we'll cover this in a later episode, because I actually want to get the audio clips, but we can't until the court's all like unconvened. But this trial has been embarrassing. They've contradicted themselves during this. The FTC have contradicted themselves during this trial so many times.
That's the FTC for you.
Yep.
I don't really even know what's happening. What's the general rundown?
The quick rundown is the FTC originally had blocked the merger between Microsoft and Activision because they were worried about like basically them trying to buy Sony off or under. Yeah. The only problem is, outside of one other regulator, every single one of them has kind of approved them. Basically just no concessions. The only ones with concessions so far have been the CMA, which is the United Kingdom's, like Ireland and all that combined.
The fucking British.
Yeah. So their regulatory board basically said no. Microsoft sent out a whole bunch of deals, and now they're kind of like in between yes and no, and kind of waiting to see how this turns out. Because if this turns out in a way that it works for Microsoft, it'll basically go through. If this works in the other way, it's basically dead on arrival. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You keep seeing Microsoft buying up exclusivity and shit. And
No, I mean, that's the stage of a market we're in currently. Like,
Yeah, sadly.
well, what's happening now is the new consolidation. It's just a lot of big things are going into corporations, and then a lot of smaller companies are starting up again. Because, like, THQ Nordics came back recently. A lot of the smaller ones, like Devolver and Annapurna, are growing. It's a new consolidation time, basically. This kind of happened in the 90s.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
I
want to see
go
things
ahead.
improve. I hope shit gets better for a lot of the smaller companies getting bought up, but depends on the company.
Yeah, I said this earlier, but I think it's just wild that the FTC is blocking this shit when not even like 10 years ago, you had EA just hoovering up small companies and then
Oh, yeah.
immediately closing them.
Well, it's not even gaming. Like, look at the fucking Warner Brothers Discovery deal that caused the whole
Yeah.
HBO Max shit. That was
I
was
mean,
way more monopolist than this.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to gaming, there's a lot of situations like, yeah, Blizzard and Activision and whatnot being bought up by Microsoft. But for years, Activision was the one who would be like, okay, now you no longer make real games. You make Call of Duty maps.
Yeah.
Decades long studio that people have like a lot of fandom for, like Neversoft or whatever, is just some, shovelware company now.
Yeah.
Basically what happened with Maxis, the Sims developers. They're not
Well,
even.
that was EA. But
Well, yeah, EA. EA is famous for like Pandemic software, also a lot of
That
Westwood.
makes me sad.
Yeah, a lot of names come around with EA, but like, there's a lot of companies that do that, and Microsoft, is probably going to do the same thing. It's nice to be like, okay, well, they bought, so and so company, so that means they might make sequels to whatever, but it's like, well, they've had fucking Banjo-Kazooie for like 20 years.
The
And
thing
they
I'll
did
say
one
is,
thing with that.
I do think that Microsoft is probably going to handle them better than most of them would, because Phil Spencer's got a hard on for fucking Hex and Something Fierce.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, there's also talks of, well, it's I think essentially confirmed at this point that they're doing a successor to New Vegas.
it's pretty
And
much like all but confirmed if they will be doing a New Vegas 2. Just,
Now, is that
it'll
gonna
be down the road.
Obsidian, or is that going to be Bethesda, or both?
it's probably going to be both.
It's probably going to be both.
Oh,
Because
that's
I'm
gonna
pretty
be a
sure
fun
Microsoft
working
owns
experience.
Obsidian now too.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they do.
And also, like, the other thing is, Microsoft is putting a big play on RPGs. Like, I mean,
We're pushing like Wasteland 3 pretty heavily,
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, the same team in Exile, they're doing essentially what looks like BioShock Infinite, but good. Which I'll link you guys a trailer for that later. It actually does look really fucking good. But they're putting in a lot of money towards actual, because the thing is, like, they're putting a lot of eggs in this basket. They've said that if these eggs don't work, it's maybe the end of the eggs. So
I mean,
I've never liked that mentality.
I don't like that mentality either, but I also think that they're confident in these studios. They've been letting Obsidian actually have enough money to do small shit like Grounded and Pentiment that they've always wanted to do, but have never been able to do, because it's always been, for them, very much like, oh, is this the last game kind of thing. Thankfully, it never been the last game, but it almost been a few times,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at how, Microsoft can't even fucking handle their own series properly. Why are we letting them take over fucking Diablo or whatever?
Yeah, rest in peace, Halo. Although I guess in that particular sense, it's more 343 than anything else.
Well, but
Halo's in a rough state.
Honestly, I think at this point it's gonna be very difficult for Halo to recover.
See, the thing is, like, Halo's in a good state campaign-wise, because Infinite's I think Infinite's campaign's really good. I'll defend it.
Yeah, I've heard
They
good things
just
about
have
that.
a whole fucking game. I mean, I gave up on it because I wasn't having fun with it. But the story is like a whole fucking game where they just talk about some alien enemy threat that like doesn't even show up because sequel bait or whatever.
But no, the threat is sort of there.
You guys remember when the Didact showed up and they expected you to care, and then they killed him off, but not really because he came back in a fucking coloring book.
We don't talk. Hang on, the color book ended up not being canon.
Oh,
Hopefully.
No, I can actually attest to that because the character
Alright.
they had, it comes back in a different story, but the plot makes no sense if you compare it to the comic book, the coloring book. So the coloring book isn't canon anymore.
Thankfully, then. Good lord. That was the stupidest fucking thing.
On Halo discussion,
Yes.
the coloring book isn't canon anymore.
Oh, brother. Do we want to? I could get into Call of Duty zombie timeline discussion here, where it pretty much is about as sane as the coloring book isn't canon anymore.
I mean, that is a segment you've been wanting to do, yeah, where you bounce this.
We might save that for the next episode because I think we want to do a shorter one. This one.
Oh, that's fine.
We're about an hour and a half, roughly.
Yeah, looks about it.
I'm gonna do a stream sometime soon, so maybe.
Yeah, this should be going out tomorrow, hopefully.
I definitely would like to go off about either Doctor Who or fucking weird Elder Scrolls lore.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I could also talk about Silent Hill lore for a couple of hours.
I'm down for Yakuza, Persona, Wheel of Time, all the things.
We may need to do these like a drinking episode where we just get really fucking hammered and just try to explain it to each other all drunk.
That sounds good.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I figure, one last thing before we go. I guess I'll just kind of do some housekeeping stuff. I haven't. Do you want to? So I talked about the merch. Do you think we should announce the merch store now? Just say fuck it.
Do you think it's in a state that's ready enough? Do you think it will be in a state that's ready enough?
Tell you what.
There will be a merch store, and there will be merch at some point.
Yes. There's already a merch store currently. It's what I call a beta state. If you go to our website, loudequalsfunny.com, there's a shout out for that. There's a link to it. It's currently unfinished. Something that will be a reward, though, if you're a patron member or if you're... Spotify has like a membership thing. I don't know how to fully set it up, but I'll work on it. If you are a member of the Patreon or that, you get a 10% off discount code for anything in the store.
Oh, epic.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Speaking of which, we got a Patreon that we'll be announcing whenever we set up tiers for it. That's going to be a later date thing, because I'm too lazy and stupid to think of plans.
Hell yeah, dude. Same.
Oh, yeah. But we'll work on that. Yeah, I think it's pretty much all we got for this episode.
You started bringing up the Jonathan Majors stuff earlier.
Oh yeah.
You didn't get into it. I don't know if we want to. You could maybe edit out that part, or you could we could talk about it now, then you could edit that back into that part. We could.
Tell you what, we'll talk about that next episode, folks. That's
Sounds
up for next episode. I'll make sure to bookmark this.
Yeah, we're teasering this shit.
Yeah, I'm planning on just listen to this episode through, making sure nothing's fucked up. Don't know if I need your guys' audio, but just uploading it.
Sounds good.
All right.
And plus, I'll make those little intro segments as little extra things later this week. But yeah, folks, we'll be back soon. I think we should start doing this maybe more weekly. He's been bi-weekly.
Have we not been doing it weekly?
Yeah,
we've been kind of bi-weekly.
Last time we did it was almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
okay.
We're right on the border there.
Do it a little more frequent. That's fine.
Yeah, July's coming up.
Things more frequently.
Things coming up, more free time. Hopefully, looking for a better job soon. But
yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, fellas, for co-hosting. Are we plugging anything?
Outside of the usual, go to Deadwing Dorks channel. Go to the website, loudequalsfunny.com. All one word, no spaces.
Do we have an official YouTube yet?
We do. I haven't uploaded anything to it yet. I should probably upload the first 2 episodes to that.
Yeah, you
Well,
should
there's
just upload
probably
like
a-
all 3 of these in just
Yeah.
like one large block.
And I guess put all the relevant links in the description, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're already in there.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Anyways,
yeah.
folks, take it easy. We'll see you next episode. Keep listening to all these, and penis.
Penis. What do I got in my belly button, folks? Find out next time. Penis.
Penis.